Welcome to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart, along with Jesse Fellebaum. He is the Director of Operations at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and for the CEO, Daniel Madelon. Jess, what's up, man? How are you?
Happy to be here.
Yeah, again, man, we put you through it this week.
I love our guests for coming up to speak with now. So
me too.
This will be fun.
Me too. And our guest is Gwinnett Sheriff Keybo Taylor and Lieutenant Jenaro Hare. What's up, fellas? How are y'all, man?
Good morning.
Yeah.
I was going to let him go first.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Great,
Yielding
man.
the right of way. I love that. No, how you been?
I've been great. A lot of good things have happened since the last time we were here. And just living the life here. Trying to think about what it looks like if I had a darker colored beard.
Yeah,
That's the topic of the day.
Let me tell you, this is the best looking dude in the room already, and he's talking about dyeing his beard. I'm like, no, he's all distinguished, you know?
Leave some for the rest of us.
That's exactly right, man.
What are you trying to get, a get out of jail free card out in Gwinnett County?
Yes, sir.
All right, well,
just in case it becomes necessary.
That was a good start.
That's right. Kill him with kindness, right? That's what they always say. No, but it's the truth. I mean, y'all do such tremendous work, and Daniel's not here, but as we talked about your first visit, Sheriff, and you said it again, though Daniel's not here, and you didn't say it just because he's here, just to kill him with kindness. He's the guy that gets out there and participates in the things that y'all want to do in the community. Ain't afraid to get his hands dirty. He participates. There's a difference because, and I don't want to say anything bad about people that donate money, but and so I'm not saying it's easy to donate money, but your time is the most valuable thing you have. And Daniel donates that.
Let me tell you one thing, and I'm not going to turn this into a religious discussion or whatever, because everybody has their own. Okay?
Let me tell you, you'd be the first one that won't.
Okay,
it seems like everything. We almost turned into revival last weekend.
We're going to let that go, okay? But the one thing that I'm pointing out to is that just about with any organized religion or whatever you want to call it, we talk about giving, being a servitude, giving back, okay? It's not just your money. It is your time. It's your effort. It's your resources. It's what is it that you, each and every day that we get up, man, every level that we reach, we're getting things, man, that we can put into a tool belt. But if you don't give that back, if you don't figure out how to share, whether it's perceived good or bad, okay? If you don't learn, and if you don't be able to share what you've learned that can help somebody on their journey, you shortchange it. So one thing that I just made mention of is that, man, I've been very fortunate, okay, to have a ton of people, business people, community folks, religious leaders, spiritual leaders, that support what we do out in Gwinnett, okay? But the one thing about it is out of all of the business people, Daniel is the only one that will come out and actually work. And what I say is on that is that let's just say if you don't have money, you do have time. If you can put 15 minutes into giving back to your community, if you can put an hour into it. But I see this man, he'll come out there, he's toting turkeys like everybody else. I can always find them because they all have their red shirts on and they're working,
Yes, sir.
And it's just like you can tell when it's a genuine appreciation for what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, not just coming out to be seen, not coming out to get a photo op, any of that stuff, just to actually put the work in. And that's what makes Gwinnett County, one of the best places to live,
yes, sir.
Grow your business, raise your family, and we're just putting it all together.
I love that.
Did I talk too much there?
No, sir. We got 45 minutes to do. You talk as long as you want to. and about anything. And we'll bring Lieutenant in, too, in just a minute. But why, Jesse, is a second chance like that? Like, what is it that Daniel has built? Why do y'all do it like that?
First of all, it's one of our core values. And Daniel's upbringing, in the tough times that he's discussed on this show with you, it's everything to him. He had nothing. There were times where no one believed in him. He can connect and relate to the people that do need a hand up, as we've talked about earlier today. And it's important to him that the people that come and work with us will show up and give their time to those that need the assistance. And we talk about that in the interview. We talk about that in onboarding. in our staff meetings, in our newsletters. It's the core of what we do. So
I want to bring Lieutenant Hare into the conversation. And Lieutenant, what is it about what Sheriff Taylor does and about that Daniel, that they do that you see benefiting, that helps more than anything else? And do other people recognize it?
Again, first and foremost, thank you for having us on today.
Always welcome, man. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Here. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. One thing that stands out is Sheriff Taylor truly holds community service to heart. And again, allowing me to be a part of the community outreach team and to manage it, he saw something in me as well. There's a connection with the community. And so this year marks my 20th year of law enforcement.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
you don't
God
look
bless
old
you.
enough to do
Yeah, I was
this.
going to say, man. What?
I started pretty young. So, but the funny thing is, over the course of these 20 years, no matter what division or what unit I was in, everything kind of always led back to community service. Okay, identifying those resources and being able to help people that lack those resources. And so that's one of the main focuses that we've always, like you mentioned, core values. That is a core value for the sheriff's office and personally myself. So, as we continue to set that bar, we always raise the bar. We talk about our Thanksgiving food drive. We talk about our back to school bash. Those are some of the largest events across the state of Georgia. And I'm willing to say that they're probably some of the largest in the country, especially from a law enforcement agency. You just don't see it. You may see a food drive, but there may only be 300 boxes of food or 100 turkeys. We put out 3,000 turkeys, 3,000 hams, 3,000 boxes of food, and that's just amazing for us to be able to do that.
Yeah, it is.
But again, that's something that we truly cherish and we truly take to heart. So that's why we give 110% when we're planning and coordinating these events throughout the year, because we know it affects a lot of people that are in need. And you see it today, people are in need, no matter
Amen.
What kind of vehicle they're driving or house they're living in. You don't know if that's their, they just used their last check or the last dollar amount in their account to buy groceries that day or to pay a bill. So we just want to relieve some of that pressure on the community.
Would you say there at the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department that Sheriff Taylor lives it and sets the tone?
He does. And I'm going to tell you one thing about Sheriff Taylor.
Uh-oh.
He's
do tell. Here we go.
You notice how they turned all the way around so I can look at it and see?
his favorite quote is, great job. Let's do something bigger.
I like it.
That's awesome.
So that's something that we take to heart. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it better.
What is it, Sheriff, that does? Because look, I'm a guy that wants to work hard, but there's those days where I'm like, all right, we did a good job. I'm ready to go home. And what puts you in that mindset where like, this is great, let's do more? Because I don't know that everybody. I'm not sure I have it.
Well, you got to understand, man, that we're only scratching the surface on needs out here.
Yes, sir.
Everybody want to put emphasis on certain events that we've experienced over the last few years, and everybody want to talk about COVID, okay? Well, there was food insecurities all across this country before COVID, okay? There's going to be food insecurities in this country out to COVID.
Years
it's
after.
just the way that this country is set up, and it's just a part of what is reality. So no matter what we do, you got to ask yourself the question, what is enough? I don't have an answer for that, but I know that if there's still somebody out here that needs something, regardless of what that is, and you hear me always talking about the least and the less, until we have completely taken care of the least and the less, and there's more work to do.
Yes, sir.
So you go home, get a little rest, catch your breath, come on back out and figure out something else that we can do.
Gosh, it's encouraging, it's inspiring, because I don't think everybody has that. Lieutenant, I really don't. I don't think everybody has, Jesse too, I don't think everybody has that in them to see that grander picture. They see, oh man, we did it, it's great. But to see even, maybe to dream bigger, just to recognize that there is more.
I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but there are definitely.
I mean, you're ruining the chance here.
Might have them on later. Who knows?
I get.
There are definitely people out there that talk about community engagement,
Sure.
and, reconnecting and bridging the gaps and all those things. And then there are folks like Sheriff Taylor that know how to get that done. And they live that truth, and they empower their people who, can actually go out and make and affect the change. And it's humbling to watch.
Indeed.
If you haven't been out to one of these events who I just, by the way, learned your first name wasn't LT, so we'll have to,
there you go.
we'll have to reconcile.
Everybody just calls you LT?
Yeah.
I love it.
But if you haven't been out to one, it's a sight to behold. And Sheriff, he comes out and, where's Daniel? Oh, he's over there. Okay, I'm just making sure my people are here.
That's
they need to be here.
Doing the right thing.
That's exactly right. He holds us to that standard. So.
When we come back on Extra 106.3 and Back Your Blue, we'll continue the conversation with Gwinnett Sheriff Keybo Taylor and Lieutenant Jenaro Hare. We'll talk about the St. Jude check that they were able to present. Also some stats from around Gwinnett County and the community that LT will hand to us. And then the events that we've been talking about that you'll have an opportunity, if you choose to, an opportunity to engage and help in the community and do good things for the people around you. Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowart, along with Jesse Fellabaum. He is the Director of Operations at Second Chance Bail Bonds, in today for Daniel Madelon, who is the CEO, of course. Man, is this guy skating off? What's he doing, man? Why is he making you work doing his thing?
He's got something going on.
All right.
He trust me.
Yeah. He'd be here for good.
He would be here. There's no doubt about that. I think we've heard that as well. So.
No doubt. Our guest, Gwinnett Sheriff Keybo Taylor and Lieutenant Jenaro Hare. So let's talk about something that me and LT talked about before we started recording the show. And then that is the gift that y'all made to St. Jude. And how did you decide to raise money for St. Jude? How did you decide to what you did, and how did it all come about?
Got you. Very interesting story. And I'm going to take the scenic route around it, but it's going to be very short. When I got out here and I started the process of thinking about running for sheriff and just seeing what the temperature was going to look like, some couple things happened, good or bad, all right? And it got me outside of the doors of my own home church that I've been involved in since I was 10 years old. So got out, started going to other places. Well, I wound up going to this church, New Mercies, okay? Pastor Jesse Kearney III is the pastor there. So just, I'd been hearing about him, had done some work with his church when I was a precinct commander with the police department. So anyway, on this particular day, I went by there and I started going a couple of times, but I noticed what he was doing, okay? And I noticed what drew me to him was his work in the community. And one of the things that they did was, and I can't remember if it was through his fraternity or through the church, whichever way that it was, but they did a fundraising drive once a year for St. Jude. And I remember sitting there watching it, and I was like, man, I'd love to be a part of this. If I could, be a part of something like this. And so, one more time, man, be careful what you ask for, And
the good Lord might give it to you.
He might just give it to you. So that was one of the things, man, that I looked at, not just with St. Jude. It was like, when you come up in policing, in law enforcement, everything is not pretty. Everything that you experience is not pretty, And when you get a minute to stop, sit back, and reflect on your career, there's a lot of things, man, I know for myself that I was like, you know what, if I had a second chance, I would do different, okay? And one of the things that I said that I was going to do is not just use the sheriff's office for enforcement. We were going to engage in the community, and we were going to do things differently. So when I got the opportunity, St. Jude is it's just something about it that just tugs at me, okay? And, I got grandkids and, kids, and, we've been blessed that, none of my kids or grandkids had to experience any of that, all right? But people do, And so I can't say how we decided to come up with the amount, but it was a challenge. okay, and it still is a challenge. But we have been given every year. So I think except for the first year because I was just coming in, didn't really have a chance to get it up and going. But every year we've been able to go in and make a donation to St. Jude. Well, this year, the help of the good lieutenant here, who I was thinking was going to either be a sergeant or make his way up to maybe another rank level, depending on what he was getting ready to say about me.
No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. No pressure whatsoever. But one thing was, I threw a number out there, okay, and the number was 50,000.
Goodness gracious!
And I was like I said, I don't know where you're gonna get it. I don't know how you're gonna get it, but this is what we're going to do.
Wow!
And so yesterday
we were big. I mean, that's a big number to pull. Goodness.
Yeah, I get a little out there sometimes.
I like it though. I like it. I love that. I wish I had more of that.
Yeah, but we were able to do it.
That's unbelievable.
And so before the last 4 years, we've been really, you start campaigning for your next election day right after you get elected. So, man, when I tell you that I've been so blessed, our first golf tournament, okay, let me brag on this for a second. We made over $120,000 on a golf tournament.
Wow.
Okay, and again, that's pretty well much unheard of. Okay, but. And every year, we've just been able to come back. So, just like with anything else in politics, you got to have money. If you're going to, be competitive, you got to have money, Oh
my gosh, you could even say that about athletics.
Anything. I mean, anything. You got to have the money. So we were good with that. Well, we're going to turn the car around a little bit, okay? The next few years, we're going to the golf tournaments and everything that we've done in the past, we're going to turn that back to my foundation, which is Keybo Building Bridges, okay, which is a charitable foundation. There's no, contribution limits on that, and it's tax deductible. So, all of the people that have supported me and believe in what we do, and would like to see this good work continues, I'm going to be hitting them back up, but we're going to be hitting them up for different this time around, and it's going to be, to make sure that we can continue to do what we're doing with, things like working with St. Jude, some of the other initiatives that we have going on, and we're going to be looking at new initiatives moving forward.
That's great. Sheriff Taylor, I'll share this with you because I shared it with LT already. St. Jude means so much to me. So immediately when LT said y'all presented the check to St. Jude, man, my heart swelled up with pride for y'all, because my mom and daddy were really, really young when they had their first child. They didn't have two nickels to rub together, and ended up at St. Jude. And my brother ultimately passed at St. Jude, and this was like 1975. So it's been a long time, but I've been fortunate enough to be a part of St. Jude fundraisers over the years, and I know the work they did there because my parents couldn't afford that care, and most parents that go to St. Jude can't afford the care. And they focus on cancer research, childhood cancer research, and sickle cell anemia. They do all kinds of incredible work at St. Jude, and those parents never get a bill. So I can only tell you how much it means to me knowing what my own family has been through. So thank you for caring about that as much as you do. It's an incredible feat.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about the statistics. You brought us some stats of things that you guys have been able to accomplish under Sheriff Taylor's leadership.
Of course. So this year's theme is hope and giving. Shout out to the community outreach team. There's 6 of us. 4 of us are sworn deputies, and 2 of them are civilians. So shout out GCSO, Community Affairs, Community Outreach Section. They work hard. We all work hard, and, we put our hearts into it. So hope and giving is the theme this year. Some of the stats for 2024, we participated in 92 community outreach functions.
Wow.
So that's not just things that we have developed and created with the sheriff's office, but also other community events that we're invited to, that we participate in. Those things can range from, career fairs to touch-a trucks, at elementary schools.
Oh, those are amazing.
Yeah, the kids love those.
Light up.
Oh
they
my
light
gosh.
up brighter than the
They
than the lights.
Yeah, they spill candy and juice all in there and play with the lights.
Yeah, probably some of that too. Guys like, come on, don't.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool, to be able to, me growing up, I never experienced that. Now I had the pleasure of having a neighbor.
Either, by the way.
Yeah, I never got to sit in a police car and play with lights and sirens and get stickers and things of that nature. So kids love it.
Something.
It means a lot.
Yes, it does. I love it.
I've been approached several times by students that I've come across over the years when they were in elementary school and they graduated to middle school.
And then they remember.
And they remember. You remember me, Lieutenant Hare? I was at this school.
And you see 10,000 kids. The answer is yes, baby. I love you. Yes, of course I remember you.
You've gotten big. Yeah,
exactly. That's safe.
Yeah, that's the safe thing to say. So 92 community outreach events. We have over 107 community partners. So Second Chance, Jesse, Daniel, like Sheriff said, they are always at our events, and we really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys really support and really show how much you care about the community as much as we do. So volunteers. None of this could be done without volunteers.
They say it at church every Sunday morning. If y'all know how important volunteers are at church, whether it's just the kids, kids, like our church calls it Kids Quest, where the kids are gathered while the parents are, watching the sermon. And it's like, we can't do it without volunteers. Mm-hmm. And that goes from church. It goes to the sheriff's office and everything else that's done, usually at a high level. So many volunteers involved.
Yes, and we really appreciate it.
And it goes back to being your most valuable asset is your time.
It is. We had recorded 597 volunteers last year. And that doesn't include the people that just showed up and said, hey, we want to volunteer. These are folks that have registered, and we have documentation showing that they truly enjoy and love being a part of these events and serving the community. Back to School Bash, that's one of our largest events. Over 7,000 people there, roughly about 7,500, give or take. We gave out, to be exact, 6,125 backpacks. And I'm not going to throw this agency under the bus, but we donated some backpacks to another local sheriff's office because they were short.
Wow.
So we were able to help them out as well as give out 6,125 at our event.
Sheriff,
let's just make sure we're clear. They did reimburse us.
Yes, they did.
But it's great to be able to help. So, you helping your own, you helping others, and then I know that's important. I know this one's important to Daniel because the last time Sheriff Taylor was in, he glowed about being out there for the Back to School Bash.
What they're not talking about is shoes, laptops, haircuts. That's just the tip of the iceberg there. It is truly remarkable. Somebody that is going into school can go there and be fully prepared walking out of that event and have a great time while doing it.
Yeah.
Food trucks everywhere, ton of positivity,
Had
music.
to be at food truck.
It's truly amazing.
I love it.
Plus, too, we've been able to give supplies back to the schools, too.
Yes, sir.
For the teachers, because
they're spending their own money.
They're spending their own money, so, we were able to, garnish up supplies for them. But, we sit here and we talk about it, okay? And we talk about the volunteers, great. Talk about the work, great. It costs money, and that's where folks like Daniel, them, and others, they're like, they never tell me no. And that's special, So when you got 105 sponsors, I didn't know we had that many, We're going to get more. You can't give me a number and then not think that we're not going to grow.
That's great. Think bigger.
Go bigger. Yeah. Let's think bigger.
I love it.
But that's what it's all about. Man, right now we got so much, you hear so much negative. You hear about, I don't care what it is, people are going to figure out how to put a negative spin on whatever it is. And, but when what I call is putting money in the bank. Okay, we're putting money, we're putting credits in the bank.
That's right.
We're putting confidence in the bank. We're putting trust in the bank, so that when we do have to deal with a situation that is negative, not just perceived, but is, what we're hoping is that people have that level of trust in us as law enforcement. Okay, that we're still part of this community. We want folks to see You know, the men and women of those agencies, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
their parents, their grandparents, you know, their kids, you know,
Coaches.
they have kids, coaches, you know, we're everyday people, every day doing everyday things, you know, dealing with the same thing that everybody else in this community is dealing with. So, you know, it takes a collaborative effort to say, okay, you got me, I got you. You know, yeah, we might have to come in and do whatever it is that is necessary because that is our number one job, and we will do it.
Safety.
And we'll do it well.
That's
okay,
right.
But there's nothing wrong with trying to go in and better communities. You know, when you talk about why kids are doing what they're doing, you know, the one thing that we don't want to talk about is what is it that is about the economical situation of that kid that forces them to have to feel like that they got to be a part of a game, okay, and then be bullied by gangs when they try to resist. And nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to put resources toward it, you know, but one of the events that we do is we address these same things, you know, and just try to give folks something different to look at.
What are the programs so people are aware? You know, because maybe people don't even realize what y'all are doing. What are the programs you do to try to guide those kids, to steer those kids the right direction?
Sure, we have a anti-bullying, anti-gang campaign that we do. It's called the Sheriff's Cup. Okay, and the first year we did it, we pitted a couple of teams. We partnered with the Gwinnett County Football League. You know, you asked me about coaching. That's where I coached at, you know, as well as high school. But we were able to get out with those folks and put together a little sheriff tournament. And we pitted two teams against each other. That was 12. We figured that was the best age group to look at these kids.
Great, 12 is a great age.
You know.
Gosh, so much fun sports that age.
So over the last few years, that has grown to where we were able to add Fulton, we were able to add DeKalb, we were able to add Cobb County. And, you know, made it a little bit more of a tournament situation. But basically what we do is bring the kids in the night before, you know, give them a banquet, you know, bring in some speakers, you know, folks that has, you know, vested interest in whether, you know, it's gang awareness or, you know, other things. And then the next day we have the football game for them. And, you know, we just all get out there and we have a good time with it. But basically what we're trying to show is that, you know, we are people. You know, we're interacting with these kids. And they're seeing us, wait a minute, this is, you know, I've heard ABC, but this ain't what I'm seeing here. You know, we see somebody here that's taking a genuine interest in caring about our safety and our well-being and is trying to help provide some extra options or opportunities other than, you know, either being involved in a gang or going out bullying another kid. So these things are important.
Indeed, they are. And the thing that stands out to me, and Jesse, I'm sure LT, you probably know, Lieutenant Hare too, how important coaches are in kids' lives. Coaches make such an impact that I think oftentimes easily gets overlooked.
Yes.
I remember coaches guiding me. Even if it was, you know, you had a bad reaction to a call you got on the field, they steered you in the right direction. Do y'all see that too with that league, just how important the coaches are?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big proponent of the Gwinnett County Football League. You know, I started coaching. Why are you laughing?
I'm smiling at you.
Were you getting ready to age yourself then? Is that the hesitation?
About it. I might leave that statement alone. Yeah. But actually, and I got it 78, 79 is when I actually first started coaching kids, working with kids. And, you know, it's just part of, you know, when I tell you that every level that you go through, you know, you're going to get some things, learn some things, put some things in your tool belt, you know, that helps build you to where you are today, and that's one of them. And little did I know back at that early, you know, stage of my life that I would be using this as a platform to reach kids in a whole nother different manner. So, you know, a lot of things, man, you know, it goes into your tool belt, and you might not know that you need it until you actually need it, and you pull it out.
Lieutenant, you probably have the same experience, right? I mean,
yeah.
At least there's so many things that you pull from from your life to be able to do what you do in the community.
Yeah, definitely. Sheriff doesn't even know this. I have a cousin that played in the NFL. So football is a huge deal in my family.
That's cool.
But I started coaching back in 2011, and my son wasn't even old enough to play football. Mm-hmm. It was just something that I enjoyed. I love the aspect of mentoring these young boys and watching them grow and become successful. Some of those kids that I coached back in 2011 are now D1 football players.
That's amazing.
At Georgia Tech, Auburn, University of Georgia.
That's great.
The list goes on. So to see them and now they're taking what we instilled in them and coming back to the community to help the next group of young men and young girls that like to play football as well.
That's great.
Let me just tell you 2 stories. I remember when I first got into it, I was recommended by my high school football coach. So when the guy came to me and said, hey, we want you to come be a part of our staff right out of high school. And I'm like, this has got to be a joke. He said, well, no, your coach is recommending you to be the coach. And I'm like, I couldn't even remember the plays when I played football. So I'm like, how am I going to, how am I going to teach something that I don't feel like I was a good player, but I wasn't a cerebral player. And I'm like, I don't know how this coaching thing is going to work out, but it worked out well. There's one guy you talk about, there was one kid in particular. He's, he made it all the way through college, played in the pros, okay? And he and I actually wound up, he's coaching over at the University of Georgia right now.
How about him?
How about him? And I remember how hard I was on this guy. Okay, you could tell he had all the talent in the world, just so nice. Always smiling. I'm like, dude, I used to get on him, man, like, this is football. Kill it.
Yeah, quit that smiling.
Yeah, quit the smiling. I was so hard on this guy, okay? He goes off to school, goes off into the pros, and I'm following his career from a little bit from the distance. Well, anyway, him and my son became good friends because they both played at the same school. My son was a little bit older. And we were doing a football camp up at one of the local parks back in Gwinnett. And I remember, man, I was having some health issues. And I'm still trying to work the camp, man, and I'm like not feeling good. Health wasn't at the best. And I look up and I see him. I see this big guy coming across the field. And when I saw him, I said, I hope he don't see me. Well, he saw me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, I don't have my gun out here.
He said a big smile on his face.
Even if I was healthy, I know I could not do nothing with this guy. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to see how this go. Anyway, this guy comes up, man, and he hugs me, and he about cracks my back, okay?
Oh, sure.
Hugging me so tight. He was like, hey, Coach, you really, when I got off to college and I got into the pros, he was like, no matter what they threw at me, I was ready. He said, man, they couldn't break me. They couldn't shake me. And I'm sitting there like, I'm just glad you didn't come over here and break and shake.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tuck Cowart, along with Jesse Fullerbaum. He is in for Daniel Madelon. He's the Director of Ops over to Second Chance Bail Bonds. We got Lieutenant Jenaro Hare and Gwinnett County Sheriff Keybo Taylor talking about all the incredible work that's being done in the community there in Gwinnett. I want to talk about some of the events because I know Second Chance is so involved with a lot of those. Why don't you run through those, LT, and tell folks what is coming up, how they can help out, how they can contribute, or if they're in need, how they can take advantage.
Of course. So our first major event is coming up on May 31st, which is the Bridge the Gap Community 5K. That's going to be at Rabbit Hill Park, which is 400 Rabbit Hill Road in Decula. Again, the theme is hope and giving. So this event, a portion of the proceeds will again go to St. Jude, as well as the Keybo Building Bridges Foundation to help support the rest of the community outreach initiatives throughout the year. After that, we'll have our Back to School Bash, which is July 19th. That is at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds, which is 2405 Sugarloaf Parkway in Lawrenceville. That's on a Saturday. That's typically between 11 a.m. until about 4 p.m. And again, that's no registration. People can come as they are, show up. We'll have bags, giveaways. We'll have free haircuts. We'll get some free nails for the girls. They can get their nails done, or maybe some hair braiding or twisting. We're working on that now. So if there's any cosmetologists out there that may want to participate, please reach out to us. Okay.
Right. Miss Jacqueline Bridges, who was just in here last week. She would be the perfect person for this. We got to connect her. We'll have to get y'all connected because she's wonderful and a ray of sunshine, this lady.
Excellent. And then we'll have our motorcycle charity ride, which is our Carl Goodbar motorcycle charity ride. That is to support scholarships for graduating seniors, whether they're going to college and or some type of trade school. It's for children that are their family or their parents are law enforcement or veterans.
Okay, that's great.
And then we have our golf tournament that will be in September as well. And then the large event, the Thanksgiving food giveaway, which is November 7th, and that's going to be at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds as well. And all these events, most of them we have set dates for, but to follow up on it, just go to our Gwinnett County Sheriff.org website or the Keybo buildingbridges.com website. We're also posting everything. Shout out comms department. Our comms team does a wonderful job with marketing our events on social media. So that's X, Instagram, Facebook, all of those sites, and you will be able to get all the information on the time, the place, and the dates for these events.
I love it, and I know a second chance is huge for y'all.
They're so organized. What he didn't mention is that they actually have what is it, the 21st, I think? March 21st? You have
March 14th.
Apologies.
Yes.
March 14th, where we, as someone that's participated in the past, along with others, come in and we get to see, what went well and also what this year the initiatives are going to be. It's so well organized and it's a great scenario. So shout out to you guys for that.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
I just got a text about a community mental health awareness fair that I was told we need to hit too.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Let them out. How dare you?
let me tell you, they shot me a text. We're like, make sure you work this in. So,
how dare you?
There you go. We had to get that thing going in there. May 10th, is that what I saw?
Yes. So our mental health task force does a community awareness mental health event every year for, I believe May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That's typically at Alexander Park, which is in Lawrenceville. So 800 Old Snellville Highway, Lawrenceville, Georgia. This is a wonderful event. This is an opportunity to connect the community with tons of resources that are focused on mental health awareness. My mom currently, God bless my mom. Shout out, Mom. She's currently dealing with dementia. That's pretty hard on a family. So please come out, get some resources, meet some of the law enforcement professionals out there that dedicate their lives to teaching folks in the community about mental health awareness and again providing those services and resources in the event that you may have a loved one that is going through a crisis.
And that's something that I think is happening across the country. So many people are dealing with it, and now I think people are taking it more serious than they ever have before, realizing that mental health is just as important as regular checkups, as important as going to the dentist. I mean, it's so invaluable to make sure that you're in a good place. And it's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to get yourself in the ditch. We had a show a couple weeks ago where we were talking about that very thing. A guy started a foundation because he himself was considering committing suicide. And it was his own son that recognized, he read about it, he knew about it, and he recognized what was happening in his own father and helped his own dad get to a better place. So God bless you for what you do, Sheriff. That's so very important. I think it gets overlooked too often.
Well, I mean, and my apologies for overlooking it, but that is another initiative that we took on coming in the door. Okay, and once again, man, let me say it this way. What do we call it on the radio? Shout out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you're a hillbilly like me, it's a country call out.
Okay, call out, shout out, whatever it is. I know it's my name, okay, but it's my staff that does the work. You know, when he's sitting down talking about how well organized this is,
yes, sir.
You know, what we do, how we do things, and, you know, how we have been able to bring people to the table to help us, I can't do that and then run the sheriff's office too. So, you know, shout out to Chief Atwater. You know, he takes care of everything operationally there so that I can have a vision. I can sit back and come in and, you know, wake up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, come in with an idea and thinking it's the best idea in the world. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but they never tell me, no, Sheriff, we can't do it. You know, it's always, let's see what we need to do to find a way to do it. Community outreach, you know, just, you know, people don't understand. They think that, you know, well, the fugitive unit is the most important, or the jail. No, it's what we do in the community, man, is the most important thing that we do here, because that fuels everything else. You know, that community confidence, you cannot put a price tag on it. So, you know, for the folks that is putting the work in out here, thank you. Okay, I know I get a lot of the credit. I know I get a lot of the whatever else, but please, you know that it's my staff that makes it happen.
Yeah, and you got a great staff around you.
Oh,
Everybody that's been here is so terrific, and I just want you to know that each and every one of you are always welcome, and thank you for what you do, and God bless you for what you do. Our community's better for having you, you know, and we can't thank you enough, and Sheriff Table for leading it, you know, for leading and setting the example. It's so important, and gosh, I don't know where we'd be without you. You know, Gwinnett is better because you're there, so thank you.
Thank you.
You're absolutely right. That'll do it for us today on Back Your Blue. Make sure you tell Daniel to that he's got some catching up to do, man.
Something tells me Sheriff Taylor may tell him directly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Absolutely. Shoot him a text, be like, "What's the problem, man? What is the problem?"
Oh,
no, it's great, Jesse. It's great having you. I hope it won't be the last time you'll be in too.
Thank you
know
for
what I mean? Sheriff LT, thank you, and the whole team. This is Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.